Hey everyone, I am coming to you today with another little video. Boy, the world seems to be in a lot of flux and a lot of chaos, and I don't know about anybody else that would consider themselves a healer in any way, but I just am driven to pour myself out there to people. I'm very fortunate of the ancestors and the tools that I have to help me kind of stay sane throughout all of this. And I can feel everybody's anxiety and worry, and rightfully so. You know, people have a lot of reason to be worried. We're in a place of the world where none of us have ever been before. Even the oldest among us, 100-year-old people, have never seen what we're seeing now with schools closing, things like that. So I want to come to you again today with some helpful tools and tricks and information that can help you get through this time, because I do believe we're going to get through it. If there's anything that I believe in, it is the perseverance of the human spirit in the face of adversity. So I want to talk to you today about runes. Now, a lot of you have had one-on-one readings with me, and I cast the runes out. Some of you have never heard of runes before, and if you've ever seen me in a group reading, I wouldn't use the runes just because it doesn't apply. Now, runes, if you will, are thousands of years old, and they're symbols. You can think of them as symbols, and they're from Northern Europe, essentially, the Norse area. They're found in Scandinavia, Denmark, Germany, France, all the way through England, Scotland, Ireland, all the way over to Iceland. And they're symbols and an alphabet, just like our alphabet is, our modern alphabet, and the way you can write and spell with them. But they're also an alphabet in the way like Hebrew letters or the hieroglyphics of Egypt, in that each of the symbols represents a different idea or concept. And today I want to share with you a couple of runes to help us all get through this crazy time. So the first one, the runes, I'm going to share with you two runes, and the runes that I share with you here, they're not fuzzy, they're not warm runes, and I think that's why we need to share them. The runes are used in divination purposes, used in healing, used in magic, used in all sorts of different ways. Some of them are fuzzier and warmer than others, and some of them are harsher than others, and goes to say, just like anything in life. So the first rune that I'm going to share with you is the ninth rune, and that is Hagalaz. I'll share it to you. It's kind of like an H, right? Hagalaz. Hagalaz's translation is the hailstone or the hailstorm. Okay, it just basically means hail. And I love this rune because it's speaking of the perseverance of the human spirit in the face of adversity, right? Imagine, if you will, thousands of years ago, our ancestors would have had gardens. They would have grown crops, most likely, right? Or they would have harvested and gathered from the plant world around them. And imagine that those crops or those plants and the health and the success of them would have equaled the health and success of their family, right? Imagine now a hailstorm coming through, something that could completely wipe out that crop and directly affect the health of the family and the community. Now, when it comes to Hagalaz or the hailstone, yes, it speaks to that force of nature that's over our head, just like a hailstorm would come over our heads while we had a garden out there. And if anybody's ever gardened and they've suffered from a hailstorm, they know exactly what I'm talking about. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't stop a hailstorm. You can't stop the power of a hailstone. Nothing stops it, right? You just have to wait it out and hope against hope that when it goes through and it's gone, that you have some crops left standing. Now, you'll have some crops left standing. The hailstone or the hailstorm will melt, and it will feed and water the crops that are left standing. This rune, while it does speak of devastation and loss, it also speaks to the fact that the sun will always come out. The storm doesn't last forever. And I hold on to that because I believe that is what we need to hold on to now. We have a storm over our head. We have a force of nature that is unlike any that we've really ever seen in our modern age. But we have to know that with the perseverance of the human spirit, with forces greater than what we can understand, the storm will pass and the sun will come back out. So that's Hagalaz. The next rune, another one that I really love, it's the one right in the rune row, right after Hagalaz. If you don't know much about runes, they are in order, just like an alphabet. So Hagalaz is the 9th rune. The next one is the 10th rune, and this is Nauthiz, and I'll share it with you here. Nauthiz. Nauthiz is need or constriction or restriction, constraint, restraint. It essentially means need or need fire. Now, need fire, the idea of need fire is very tough for us to understand in English because these are essentially Norse or Proto-Germanic concepts that we're talking about. And I'm mostly Northern European. Most of my DNA is Northern European, and these come directly from my ancestors. I feel very called to these energies and these runes. But Nauthiz is need, and essentially it is the rune that speaks to necessity is the mother of all invention. Okay, so yes, we're in need, we're constrained, we're restrained, we know constriction and restriction, especially right now. But when we find ourselves in those situations, that need fire comes up in us to get us out of that situation. Think, most folks, right? And this is the example that I always use with Nauthiz. Imagine that you have more income, or excuse me, more expenses than you do income, right? What are you going to do? Most people are going to go and get another job. I've had plenty of times in my life where I've had 2 or even 3 jobs at a time to make sure that I could pay my bills and take care of my family. That is Nauthiz energy, digging deep within us to find that will, that strength, that perseverance to get through whatever we're faced with. All of our ancestors faced the hailstorm, and all of our ancestors had that need fire, that Nauthiz energy within them to get out of whatever would challenge them. A lot of people might not be called to runes, and that's okay, right? The runes, I believe, are for everybody. And a lot of the modern Norse culture, there's a lot of people that are very like, oh no, you can't use runes because they're special to me. And I don't believe that. I believe no matter what your background is, no matter what your ethnicity is, no matter what your culture is, the archetypes and the energies of runes are available to everyone. And I really recommend people using them. I've used them for several years now, every day, pulling a rune in the morning and learning from it and watching for patterns in my life and seeing how that energy and those archetypes would present themselves in my life. I can't stress it enough to you guys. Please use something like this. Please use something like runes. I love that they come from our ancestors and they come from a time when people really had to fight and struggle to get through. And by using runes, I feel like we're tapping into those struggles, into those strengths to get through those struggles. So, Hagalaz, the storm doesn't last forever. Nauthiz, we all have within us that fire that burns to get us through whatever we're faced with. So please, hold on to those energies. I'll show them to you again. Hagalaz. Nauthiz. Nauthiz is a great rune to write on your body, write on a piece of paper, chant the energy of Nauthiz, 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 to build up that need fire within you to get through whatever it is. Whether it's the coronavirus, whether it's lean times, whatever it is, you have it within you to get through whatever it is that you're facing. So thank you for today. Thank you for watching this. Feel free to share this as much as you need to. and talk to me about the runes. I have a book coming out in April on them, so they're very special to me, and something that have really helped me, and I can only hope that they can help somebody else. So, again, thank you. Signing off. Please remember, in this time especially, we must be warriors and not worriers. Take care.